Hey guys, it's me Haru, and welcome to episode 20 of SpyroCast. Wow, we've been going for 20 episodes. This is pretty exciting. Today, I have BrineDude with me. Say hi.
Hello.
Alright, so what do you do? Tell me a little bit about what you do.
I literally do nothing but play video games. No, I mean, I run a YouTube channel, but I don't upload a lot of gaming content. I plan on streaming very soon. I used to upload a lot of gaming content, and that's kind of where my online persona came from. And I actually do want to stream Spyro 3 very, very soon. So hopefully that'll be the start of me making more content. Other than that, I am very interested in a lot of different forms of media. I want to start doing reviews very soon of like Disney movies and stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm just trying to get all that set up, but I'm on this podcast to just kind of talk about my experience with Spyro and how things I like about the game and don't like about the game, and just, I think it'll be an interesting discussion.
Alright, that sounds great. So tell me a little bit about your history with Spyro.
My history with Spyro is actually really weird, because when I was younger, I didn't play to complete games. And I don't mean that like I wouldn't 100% them, like I just wouldn't beat games, like any games.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I barely beat games.
I was weird like that. Like I would play the first like world of a game, have a ton of fun with it, then put it down, then I'd pick it up and start a new game for some reason. I was a weird kid. So it was, for me, one of my first video games was Spyro 3.
Nice.
And I remember like vividly sitting on the floor just in front of a CRT playing Spyro 3, and I had a ton of fun, and I would get like, I would skateboard, and I would go through all these different realms, and it was awesome. But just recently, when I've started trying to 100% the games before Reignited, I've realized how much I've missed out on, and so I've been getting very involved with like the Spyro fandom in a way, because it's almost like a new thing for me. Like I had no idea who Allura was until recently. I had no idea about much of anything about like the characters and the worlds and all the different lore around Spyro until fairly recently. And with Reignited coming out, I was so excited for Spyro 3 and only that. But I realized like, oh, there's like 2 whole games that I haven't played. Like I haven't touched them. And so now that I finally got into these new experiences for me, it's been a lot of fun. And I'm realizing more and more why people adore these games so much, more than I even did. And I'm realizing why this like Reignited trilogy is going to strike such a nerve with people, or it's going to like, it's making so many people so excited, and they're making beautiful art and getting involved in all these different communities. Like the Spyro YouTuber community is booming right now, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And so my experience with Spyro is I have a very recent like resurgence with it, but I've always adored the game and the mechanics of the game, the platforming and the design of it all. So, you know, this has always been like something that I've adored, but just fairly recently I've really started to understand why this is such a beloved series.
All right. Well, hey, I'm glad that you've been able to experience it, because like, even, you know, if you experienced as a kid or just recently, as long as you are able to, you know, have that kind of experience and understand what it means to other people, to so many people out there, then I think that's
for sure.
Great.
Yeah, I literally almost cried when I saw the reveal of Spyro 3. Like, I heard the music and I was just like, oh my god, this is like exactly what I needed to understand why this is so exciting.
Yeah. Spyro 3 means a lot to me too, just because it's, you know, it's my favorite video game, and it's, of all, you know, the Spyro games, I feel like I remember a lot from 2, not so much from 1, at least not, you know, when I was a kid. Like, it's hard to pull out all the memories from the when I was a kid compared to, like, more recent memories.
Right.
Because, like, it all kind of gets mixed together, and I'm like, well, was that something I knew as a kid, or did I just start to think about that now? Like, yeah. So, what would you say your favorite Spyro game is?
Definitely 3. I mean, that's the first one that I fell in love with, yeah. And while I think that all of them are terrific, and I've started to notice, like, they're very different. Like, all of them are very, very different in subtle ways. Like, the way Spyro controls in 1 is completely different than 3, but they're all part of the same series. So I like 3 because I feel like it just built on what makes Spyro great so well. And I understand that people have their problems with, like, some of the added characters and some of the challenges in the game. But
Right.
I think that Insomniac really perfected their craft with that game. And just everything about it strikes me as, like, this was all intentional. They really wanted to make everything exactly like this, instead of, oh, this design was an accident because we didn't have the technical power. Like, they were learning how to use the PlayStation, and I think that they did a really, really good job with Spyro 3. And I remember, I think the music is the best in Spyro 3. I think everything about Spyro 3 is fantastic. So that's definitely my favorite.
Awesome. Yeah, I do agree with you on a lot of points. Although I think that the music in Spyro 1 is the best just because it was a little more unique. It started to change a bit in 2 and 3, but yeah, I always thought it was more unique in 1.
One thing everybody can agree on is that Stuart Copeland's a genius.
Yeah, no, that's definitely, of course. Oh, man. So, since you have so much experience with the third game, and going back to the previous 2 games, especially the first one, was there anything that you found it, like, really hard to get used to? Anything, like, you disliked just out of your nostalgia for the third one?
Well, okay, so in the first game, like I said, his controls are very wonky, and I found myself getting used to it, but as soon as I got to the second game, I was like, oh, I'm right back where I need to be.
Yeah.
Like, you can't... I mean, I emulate the games, and I'm not sure if this is a product of me emulating, like, Spyro 1, but he doesn't run straight. And I realized that in the first level, I was like, he's, like, just holding down dash. I was like, he's kind of moving on the slopes weird. Like,
yeah.
He doesn't quite run perfectly straight like he does in the other games, and that kind of threw me off a little bit. Other things were, like, certain camera, quirks and things, but I'm trying to think of, like, one other thing that I might prefer that's not in 1. I mean, like, there's the swimming mechanics that always got better. You can't swim. It's better. He just dies in the water.
Mm.
So there's, like, certain little things that they just hadn't quite implemented yet. I like the way they kind of fit it into the story that he learns different abilities as he gets older, almost.
Yeah.
To excuse the, like, technical limitations of 1. But yeah, those are just a couple of the issues I have with Spyro 1.
All
but
right.
I love the game regardless. I 120%ed it, which is awesome.
That is cool.
Finally.
Yeah, how long did it take you to do that?
I mean, I started playing 1 fairly recently, so it took me about 4 days
Alright.
of playing the game to 120% it. That's probably the easiest Spyro game, though. Like, I'm finding myself having a fairly hard time with 2, like, 100%ing certain levels. I'll say the worst for me was Treetops. I could not, like, I couldn't even begin to describe to you the, like, anger that I felt playing that level.
Yeah, that, oh man, Treetops, it takes its toll on everybody.
I finally understood that line, like, you could have found an easier spot to get stuck. I was like, oh yeah, he could have. He really could have. Jesus.
Yeah, that's why that's my favorite line in that game. It's just because he's saying, like, what all of us had felt at that moment. We're just like, yeah, he really could have found an easier spot. Like, you couldn't have said it any better.
Exactly. It's like the developers knew.
Oh, man. How about any hard parts in Spyro 2 you felt you, like, just had a really hard time with getting through?
I mean, there were certain puzzles, especially in Spyro 2. Like, what you have to do with where you get the fire power-up and you have to shoot the mechanical sharks. That bugged me because I was like, there was no direction. Like, I think that's the biggest issue is, like, there's a lack of almost direction in Spyro 2 that isn't, like, it's not as linear. And I think that Spyro 3 struck a nice balance between linear and open. where Spyro 2 is almost too open for me. And so there are certain parts of the game, even in the home worlds, where I'm like, I'm not sure where this gem is, and I have no way of finding it. Like, it could be behind a rock in the bottom of the sea, and I just don't know, and no one will tell me.
Yeah.
So, like, with the first game, you're just, I mean, outside of the home worlds, you're just on a straight path, and it's from point A to point B, and you will find everything you need from point A to point B if you're trying to beat a level.
Yeah.
But with Spyro 2, almost every world is very spread out, and I like that because it shows that they put a lot more attention. There's a lot more attention to detail in the worlds. There's different lighting and just different things that they could do that made them really stand out. But there were a lot of almost like challenges and puzzles and certain flight missions that were like, this is eluding me. I can't quite figure out how to 100% this. Mm-hmm. And so I think it is like a lack of direction issue, and I don't know if it's intentional or not, but I'm wondering, like, have you had any experiences like that where you just can't quite figure out what to do and there's nothing in the game pointing you in the right direction?
I feel like, I mean, I probably have, because there's a lot of games that I play where I'm just like, well, I don't know what to do. Well, you know what? I felt like that when I was playing, Legend of Spyro. Because there's like no objective. Like, there's just like, it gives you an objective. It's just like, find this area. And then you have these big open worlds, especially, I'm most talking about Dawn of the Dragon. I was stuck in the Valley of Avalar for like a long time just because I was running around and I'm like, oh yeah, where do I go? Because it's, it's this huge area and it just gives you one objective, but it doesn't tell you where to go. And a lot of the places look the same. So you're running around going like, have I already been here? Like, oh, that's a new door. Like,
yeah, my friend Dakota played a lot of the newer games, and so I would watch. By the way, shout out to Dakota. I'm sure she'll watch this. But I've watched a lot of playthroughs because I haven't quite gotten to those games yet. And I've noticed that the layout of the worlds is even more open than I think I can handle. And so. And it's weird because like I love the 3D Mario games. I love A Hat in Time. I love a lot of these open world games. But there is a certain level of, like you said, this lack of direction where you just don't know where to go. And you just kind of have to figure out on your own. And I do like a little bit of, all right, here's what you got to do. And some games even offer like a mode where it's just like, here's an assist mode. Now you know. And like some of the GameCube and even DS games for Spyro, like it's a lot of backtracking and a lot of like, just strange choices made.
Yeah, it's just that's just something. That's one of the other things I just don't like about the Legend games is that lack of direction, and you're just like, well, where do I go? I feel like while Spyro 2, like you said, may have kind of that open feel like that, it's definitely nowhere near as bad as that.
Right.
And it's funny how you would say that Spyro 2 felt like it had a severe lack of direction, because I started thinking about one of the differences in Spyro 2 that I always talk about that I really don't like, and that's the supercharge controls. How it's a power-up gate, and you're not following along any arrows, and you don't know where to go. And it's really funny that you would say that, because I was like, that may represent that lack of direction, not knowing where to go. Like,
yeah, and like I said, I think they found a good balance in 3 because they put those arrows right back where they should be.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm just like, wow, there's some symbolism going on there, I guess.
Yeah, and that's why it makes me feel like it wasn't it makes me feel like it wasn't a coherent choice on behalf of Insomniac. It feels like it was like an oversight that, the players, like, we're developing the game so we know where everything is, but we're not quite giving the players the right amount of tools to know exactly how to 100% this game.
Yeah. God, that's so funny. And you were also talking about, like, finding the gems, how sometimes it's hard. You did use the gem finder ability, did you not?
I have not gotten to that yet. That's interesting that you brought that up, because in the beginning of the game, I am completely, like, lost. And so I have a feeling that once I get it, I'll have a little bit of an easier time. But I have noticed that they give you a mini-map in 2. I like that, it's completely useless.
Yeah,
It is unreadable.
It's funny.
And
most people didn't even know the map existed. Because sometimes it's because it's not turned on by default because like it is an unreadable map. It's just like, I don't need this. I can't.
It's in the pause menu, you turn it on, and then you turn it right back off. And like, I turned it on and I was like, oh sweet, there's a map. It looks like a GTA map. It's kind of round and you can kind of see where things are. And then I was like, oh, actually, you can't see where things are because the pixels are gigantic. Like,
yeah.
Isn't there going to be a map in Reignited for all of the games? And I think I saw like the pause menu had it where they were like, oh, there's a mini map.
I think there might be. However, I'm guessing it'll be, much more readable.
Oh yeah, that's why I mentioned it, because I'm hoping that they do make it like an HD, almost 3D map. That would be awesome, because I think that the mini map could be like an important part of Spyro if it's usable, because it would fix that lack of direction issue.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of Reignited, that demo. Oh man, that demo.
So you've played the GameStop demo?
I have not. I'm just really excited for it.
I'm excited for it too. Hopefully I will be able to play it in the coming days.
I'm planning on doing it tomorrow if one of the GameStops near me has it.
Yeah, I know. I hope one of the GameStops near me has one too. Maybe, I doubt the one in my local mall will have it, but...
You never know. That's how I got into the Crash remake. I played the demo and I was like, okay, I need to purchase this right now.
Yeah. What was I going to say about the Gem Finder? Yeah, so about that, in the second game, you actually have the Gem Finder by default from the beginning. You don't need to unlock it. It's the third game that you need to unlock it.
Huh. How have I not? Maybe I'm just really unaware because I have still struggled really, really badly with 2 and like finding specific gems. So I'll have to look into that. I feel stupid, but I'll definitely check that out because it may have just like passed me by and I just didn't realize that I had it.
Now, that is something I'm hoping they put in the first game because I think of all the games, it's harder to find gems in the first one, probably. It's hard in the third one too, but at least, in 2 and 3, you have the Gem Finder. I would prefer it would just be there from the beginning, but even if it has to be unlockable, to put it in all 3 games is good by me.
Maybe they added it as like, do you think they're going to put the cheat codes in Reignited? I haven't seen any hint of it, but I'm wondering.
I am not sure. I never really used much of those cheat codes anyway. They were fun.
I didn't know they existed.
I don't think I knew they existed until did I know they existed as a kid? I might have.
And it's weird because I bought like those cheat code books at like Scholastic book fairs and stuff, but I never realized that Spyro had anything to activate. I didn't know it had a demo. I didn't know any of that. Oh yeah,
the demo. I think I knew about the demo because of the booklet. It would say in the game manual that there's a demo.
I didn't read booklets.
Oh, I always read those booklets. I would read those booklets just to look at the pictures.
I actually do miss that. I miss having little art in your game case, and now game cases are becoming obsolete.
Yeah, I know. I was just get it all digitally. I'm just no, I like having a physical copy.
Exactly. You get to see weird adult Spyro in the booklet.
Yeah. Oh man, I wish I still had that, but
that is, I don't know what that was. That they must not have known that they were making another game. They put weird adult Spyro in there. Yeah,
I really don't know what that was, but
it's a cool design. But it's what am I looking at?
If they somehow incorporate that into one of the Reignited Dragon designs, then that would be great.
That would be kind of cool. And it's just in the background somewhere.
Yeah, even if it's just an Easter egg in a picture.
Mm-hmm.
So, what about your least favorite Spyro game?
My least favorite Spyro game. From what I have played, I don't have a least favorite. I think there are merits to all of the games. As far as the original 3, anybody, you ask any Spyro fan, they're going to give you the same answer for their least favorite out of every game. But
yeah,
with I mean, they're either going to tell you Skylanders or they're going to tell you GameCube port, but you're going to have, for the original trilogy, a certain level of polish and quality that you can't really say like, oh, I don't like this game. If you like one of the games, you're going to find something to like in all of them. And so, like, even with Spyro 1, where it wasn't quite at the level where, like, 3 was, there's still a lot to love about it. There's a lot to love about the designs and the worlds, and the personality that they give Spyro in every game is so charming. And so I think, like, yeah, while I can say that the mechanics in 2 and 1 are kind of amateurish compared to 3, I still find something to love about all of them, and I have a very hard time saying that one of them would be my least favorite.
Alright, well, I mean, least favorite doesn't always have to mean, like, disliked. Just like...
Oh, I know. I'm saying that it's almost like I just have 2 and 1 tied in my mind, you know?
Yeah. So going back to Reignited, what are some of your hopes for the games? Things they could fix?
Things they could fix. I mean, the camera they already fixed. Great. Because that is such a dated control scheme in the original, with that you're just using the shoulder buttons.
Yeah.
Another fix that people were looking for was the music. They fixed that. I mean, I like some of the new music, but to have the original soundtrack built in is fantastic. Maybe as far as like a thing that is like bothering me about the new one, I would probably say that some of the design choices in the levels are bothering me a little bit. Like some of the sky, I know people complain about the skyboxes a lot. It's a meme at this point, but some of the skyboxes are a little off. The lighting it's got that purple filter on it, and they've gotten rid of it in some of the levels, and some of it still has it. I don't know if that's a beta or not. I know people complained about Sheila's design. I didn't really find it to be too bad. I would have preferred her to have a little tuft of hair instead of a full head of hair, just for the sake of her looking more like a kangaroo.
Yeah.
But
I think
and
it makes her look unique, though, you know?
It does make her look unique, and I like the other changes they made to her. I like the clothing they gave her and everything, and it didn't bother me, like, in the sense that people were like, oh, they're trying to make her look more like a girl. That didn't bother me. It was more like, I want her to look like a kangaroo because none of the other animals have hair. And so that's where I was like, it isn't, like, it's an animal. Like, a kangaroo wouldn't have that. And I know there's a certain level of, like, oh, freedom of, you know, making it look more artsy and cute. But I've seen some designs where they just photoshopped a tuft of hair and it looked adorable. But outside of that, basically everything else is okay. I love the voices. I love the animation and the cutscenes. That's amazing. I'm falling in love with the cutscenes all over again.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the game will maybe run at 60 frames per second. The first trailer did, but it looks like it might be stuck at 30 by release. I'm not sure if that's set in stone or not. I'm not sure if they're waiting to release a PC version that runs at 60, but you know, I'm hoping they come out with the Switch version. I mean, that's been leaked so many times that it's inevitable. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, I'm incredibly happy with the work that Toys for Bob is doing. It looks like an amazing remake. Probably the best remake I've seen, because if you look at the Crash remake, there wasn't a lot of like fixing issues. Like certain hitbox issues that were in the original are still there. Certain AI issues and things that just kind of happen in the game that are dated are still there. With the new one, they're keeping the character paths. With the new Spyro, they're keeping a lot of the character paths. They use that Spyroscope or whatever. Yeah. But they are fixing a lot of other things, like the camera. They're redoing a lot of different things. They're redoing animations that they didn't really... They touched on that in the Crash cutscenes, but in like regular animation, like the dragons are moving in such a vibrant way. And so I'm seeing this as becoming like one of the most beloved remakes, just based on the fact that they are going all out. They're not just upping a resolution, fixing textures. They are releasing basically 3 new games for $40. And that's honestly incredible. And I'm really, really happy with the work they're doing. And I'll take as many delays as they need, as long as I get a really polished product. And it looks like that's what they're going to give us.
Yeah, it just looks so good. Like every new thing I see, I'm just like, wow, how could this get any better? Right?
That's me. Like, this is the most excited I've been for a video game in years. This is so awesome to see, like, this is a thing, that Spyro is back. and that it's like, this is what we wanted. We wanted classic Spyro because it still holds up. Like, the original games still hold up, and you can't say that about a lot of old 3D games. You can't even say that about Mario 64. But with Spyro, there's just that certain level of they really nailed it. For when you're flying around, when you're jumping, it feels right. That's why they didn't change it. They didn't change any of that. They went frame by frame and made sure everything feels the same. Because the original games feel fantastic. So they didn't really have to fix that much. It's just polish.
Yep. I know there were some complaints that people had about Insane upon release, and some people say that it's the optimal way to play certain Crash games now, and some people just say, like, oh, play the originals, like, they're still better. I mean, at least it's the best way to play Crash 1, probably.
I would tell, I was literally going to say, I would tell those people to go back and play Crash 1 again on the PS1. Unplayable. Like, they may, when they grew up with it, were like, oh yeah, this is totally fine, but no. Crash 1's unplayable. The other games, they still hold up, but it is the optimal way to play Crash 1, and I would argue that it is the best way to play all of the games, strictly on the fact that it's got better loading times, it's HD, it's got great sound, especially on the Switch. I think that's an amazing version. It's got HD rumble when you collect the Wumpa fruits. It's a really, really good version, and the rumor is that they're going to make more on that engine, so hopefully people can get used to it and start to appreciate it, because I think that remake was great.
Yeah, Crash Team Racing remaster. It's going to happen. It's going to happen,
That's
I know it.
What I'm hearing. I really hope so, because I know a lot of people love that game. It's a great racing game. I wonder, though, if they're going to make it the same, or if they're just going to make maybe another... Like, if they make, like, Crash Team Racing Deluxe or something to compete with Mario Kart 8, or if they're just going to do a direct port, like, in HD.
Yeah.
Because if they just do a regular, like, oh, it's Crash Team Racing in the Crash Reignited engine, I think it's going to look dated. I think that, like, you're going to see, oh, there's not really much here. Like, it was good back then, and it's still good, but Mario Kart 8 exists, so you got to do a little bit more. I'm almost hoping that they make, like, an updated version of it with the same kind of racing, but just on a modern level, you know, with more power-ups and things.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
More tracks, more detail. That'd be cool.
Yeah, more characters
always use
to
more
play
racers
as.
so you can get mad at your friends.
Yeah, more characters to play as too. I know some people are still upset that Brio wasn't in it, so maybe they could just put him in it.
Yeah. Speaking of characters, do you think that either Spyro or Crash will ever appear in Smash?
I mean, it's possible. At this point in Smash, anything is possible with all the characters they're bringing to it now.
Right.
but-
Yeah, because you have... There's so many different things they could do. They could bring in a Square Enix representative like Sora. They could bring in Crash. I think that Crash is more likely than Spyro just based on the moveset. And also he's already confirmed for the Switch, like he's on it. So, I don't know. I kind of hope that we get some Sony, like, representation. But I also know that Sony's stubborn. And there are, like, I know people are like, well, Activision owns the games now. There is a certain level of, like, they need to get some permission because there are certain things that are still kind of up in the air, like the music was until recently. So, I don't know, we'll see. I'm hoping that we get more Smash characters. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to matter much to me since I don't have a Switch, and I kind of stopped getting Nintendo consoles because I don't really like Nintendo as much as I like Sony.
I mean, I like both. A lot of the benefit of the Switch is just the fact that it's portable. Where if you get Reignited on the Switch, it's a portable version of HD Spyro, which is awesome. And it'll have things like HD Rumble, where you can feel the gems hitting Spyro and stuff. But I understand also, like, not being a huge fan of Nintendo. I know they make a lot of weird decisions.
Yeah. Plus the consoles are, like, really expensive.
And yeah, for sure.
It doesn't seem like it's worth it. I know that my PS4 was a decent amount, but it didn't seem like it was... like, overly expensive or anything.
I have to agree with you there because I actually got my Switch with I got a really good deal on it, so I didn't buy it for full price.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would have. So, in that sense, I do agree. Maybe one day when the Switch is, like, really dropped in price and, like, Spyro and stuff is on it, maybe that'd be something to consider because it is nice to have those games on the go.
Yeah. The only way I'd even consider getting the Switch or any new Nintendo console, because they always become obsolete after like a couple years, because Nintendo's always making new consoles and like they become obsolete
They're
so
weird.
fast.
They're a weird company.
Like the only way I'd consider it is if we ever, and it's probably never going to happen, but is if we ever get Banjo 3.
Oh, okay. The rumor right now is that Banjo's going to be one of the new characters in Smash.
That is a rumor, yes.
That is a huge rumor, and there is evidence to back it up because Microsoft wants it. Like they own Banjo, and they are saying, like, Phil Spencer's on Twitter every other day, like, put Banjo in Smash. Did I mention that we'll let you? Like, he wants it to happen so bad, and I think he wants to make a deal with Nintendo. And we've already seen the beginnings of that with Minecraft, where Minecraft and like Xbox and the Switch have a lot of parity, and you can play together, and Nintendo and Microsoft have a really nice relationship, right? So if we ever got Banjo, I would not be shocked if it ended up being a PC, Xbox, and Switch exclusive, and it didn't come to the PlayStation just because of Sony's stubbornness. I would not be shocked. I really wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Especially if he comes to Smash. If he comes to Smash, I think that's it. Game over.
Oh, boy.
I love Banjo. A huge reason I fell in love with Banjo is Grant's music. And I actually interviewed him a while back, and he's a great person. He's a great composer.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
I
he's
love
awesome.
his music, too. It's so great.
Shout out to Grant. But he's a huge reason why I got into Banjo, and I was just like, oh, this is really good even now. Like, I played the version on the Xbox 360, and it's just it's the N64 version with a higher res, and it's awesome. Like, the controls are way better than 64's. It's a really good, solid 3D platformer. So if we got another Banjo, that'd be hype. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, that would be so great, because one of my favorite games is Banjo-Tooie. Like, specifically Banjo-Tooie, that was the first one that I played, and after I went back to Kazooie, I was like, well, I really couldn't get used to it because I was just so used to what Tooie did, so I've always liked Tooie more.
Yeah, Tooie's a great game. I love Banjo, and all I can think about right now that you've said Banjo 3, is Banjo with the graphic style of Reignited. And I'm like, I need it. I freaking need it.
Oh my gosh. I just imagine that, and that would be great.
You think of that, how colorful and vibrant, and all the animations, like Gruntilda moving in like such a perfect fluid way. Like, oh, that'd be so good. That'd be so good. I need it now. What have you done to me? I need it.
That would be great. And like, hey, I want that, and I'm still hoping for a Tooka-Laylee. I want a Tooka-Laylee.
See, I haven't played ukulele yet. I got on a Hat in Time hype train, and I didn't leave. A Hat in Time
is amazing. It's
I
way better than ukulele.
That's one of my favorite games.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite games too.
Yay! I love that. That's I actually see. I'm like having a hard time speaking right now because I'm thinking about Banjo 3. This is what you've done. You have rendered me speechless. But yeah, like Hat in Time, that was a surprise hit because like it didn't do so well, it didn't sell so well, but it was one of the best 3D platformers to come out in years. And if more people knew about it, I think they would get it. But it's so good. Anybody who's listening to this who hasn't played A Hat in Time, please get it. It's on everything. It's coming to Switch. It's on PC. It's on Xbox. It's on PS4. Please get that game and support the developers because they worked really hard on it. It's got a lot of charm, and it feels great to move Hat Kid around. It's so good. So please get it.
Yes, and please get the DLC if you are playing it on PC. Hopefully it will come to console soon because I really, really want it.
I have been begging them on the Hat in Time Discord to bring it to console, and they did say that they wanted to on the Kickstarter, and it's complicated, but I'm hoping for that too. I hope that they actually do port the DLC to console so that everybody can experience it, because I know they put a lot of work into it, and it's always exciting to, have a really good 3D platformer to play.
Oh man, what a good game.
Yeah. I'm glad you like it. I mean, I know you played it with, Destination Mark?
Yeah, he's starting to play it.
Yeah. He's great, by the way, too. But, yeah, that game is incredible. I'm so glad you like that, too.
It was actually a Christmas gift. I bought it.
Sweet.
And I was just like, yay, it's my Christmas gift to me.
Sweet. Grant did, like, a song or two for that game, too.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
I think he did, like, the hub world. The do-do-do-do.
Yeah, it sounded like his music.
Mm-hmm.
The music in that game is also amazing.
I was gonna say, yeah, all the music in that game is great.
Pascal Michael Stifel? I really don't know how to pronounce his name, but...
I can't remember how to pronounce that. Pascal Michael Stifel. I mean, you can probably find him on, what is his username on YouTube? What was it?
I don't know.
I can't remember it. Dang it. I was gonna say because it would be way easier. Just look up Hat in Time Composer and listen to all his music. He's good.
Yeah, I probably will later.
Also, if you have a powerful enough PC, people listening, get it for PC because the mods are great. There's a mod that adds Flood from Sunshine. It works really great. There's a mod that adds like Keyblades and like different worlds. And you should definitely like look on the Steam Workshop. There's so many good mods.
Yeah, I would say PC is like the optimal way to play the game, just because it I mean, while I love the PS4 version, it's not quite as polished. There are some things that are missing, like there are
bugs and there's no kiss button.
Yeah, I know. I was like, excuse me, I can't smooch a bird.
I want to smooch a burb. Oh man. They need to, hopefully they update the console version so that they can get everything that's like officially done. But as far as mods, if you have a powerful enough PC, definitely try to get it for PC because, and the Steam version. There are some mods for the good old games version, but the Steam version specifically has a workshop. You press a button, you get new features in the game. It's cool. But yeah, I like how SpyroCast has turned to Spyro and a Hat in Time.
So, welcome to a Hat in Time cast. HatCast. I'll call it that. That's the title of the video, HatCast.
Yep, for sure.
Well, we had some great discussions here, and even though it turned into talking about other video games, it was still really enjoyable.
Yeah, for sure. No, that was really cool. Just talking about different, like, thoughts on everything.
And after Reignited comes out, you gotta come back on the podcast, and we're gonna talk about all the stuff that goes on in that game.
For sure, that'd be awesome, because I'll have a lot to say. I ramble a lot anyway. After that, I'll be like, oh my god, the game is so good, and blah, blah, blah.
Like, that episode is gonna be like us talking about Spyro 3. Just like, the whole thing. It's gonna be that. Just prepare for that, people.
It's gonna be so fun. That'll be great. We'll have to do that.
Alright, well, thank you so much, BrineDude. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you for having me on. That was really fun.
Alright, and as always, don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Twitter, and I will see you all in the next SpyroCast. Until then, this is me, Haru, signing off.